So I'm not Sifu. I'm not Sifu tonight, so I get to talk because Sifu's not feeling well. So it's really interesting when your body doesn't cooperate with what it is that you want to do with life. And he's feeling ill and he's gone home to go and rest, and so he can be here bright and bushy-tailed tomorrow. And he said to me this morning, he said, Catherine, I've got a great opportunity for you today because you're going to do the meditation talk tonight. You're going to teach adult class and do the teach meditation. I'm like, great, because I'd had my shingles shot yesterday, and it's one of those shots that can be kind of nasty. I don't react to it too badly. This is my booster shot, but my shoulder is like ultra sensitive right now, and I was achy all day today. I was like, but this whole talk is about mind over matter. So it's not about how your body is, but how your mind is. Because even though my body felt a bit bleh, and Sifu's body I know feels a bit bleh, we both feel like really great. Like if you were to ask us how we are today, it's like, I'm great, I feel really great because, life is wonderful. And so it's really looking at the perspective that you have on your life and how you can take whatever life is giving you, and no matter what the circumstances are, choose to be in a great space. And it's not to say that you can't be sad. It's not to say that you can't be angry. It's not to say that you can't have any of those emotions, because it's healthy to feel the emotions, but it's not necessarily helpful to have them rule you, right? So you want to be able to take whatever it is, whatever swirl of life is giving you, and be able to take that and say, well, how can I make the best of it, and what's the best of this for me right now? And if you're in a challenging situation, it's like, well, what can I learn from this? What are the things that I can take away from this that is going to make this a good experience? Now, you can turn literally anything that happens to you into a good experience. And it's like when you're it's like when you're about to do a test here. So most of you have done tests here, and it's like you've got this test coming up, and all these thoughts go through your head about, am I going to be able to do it? Am I going to remember everything? Is it just going to be too hard for me to do? All those questions come up, and unless you get yourself into a place, into a mindset that allows you to be present in the test, you can have a really miserable time, but you don't have to. You can be in that space where you can be really enjoying yourself, be present to what is actually happening right here, right now. And that's also like what we can do in our lives. Like how can we take what we've got going on for us right for us right here, right now? What's happening for ourselves that allows us to learn from the situation that we've been given, that allows us to give joyously and with gratitude to the people around us in the situation that we have too. And it's a very different way of thinking and of being around people that allows just a wonderful, wonderful warmth to occur in your life. So it's that the whole aspect of where your viewpoint is allows you to be in that space of giving and of peace and of joy, no matter what the circumstances really, really are. So one of the other things I was thinking about as I talked with Sifa a little bit about this too, was really looking at the attachment that we have to how things should be. And it's like you always want your life to be going beautifully, exactly the way you want it to be. And it's not going to happen all the time. We know that. But if we're attached to that, the way things going in a particular way, like if we're attached to when we're sparring with our partner and we're attached to doing a certain technique, but our partner never gives us the opening to that technique, have we failed? Not necessarily, right? We just never got the opportunity to do that particular technique, right? But if the opening's there and we take the opportunity, then we have an opportunity to practice that technique. But if you're attached to, I have to do this technique, and you try and do it off something that really doesn't work, then you're going to be frustrated with yourself. It's like, you know, things didn't work out how you wanted them to be. And there's no point being like caught up in that kind of holding on to having to do that one technique. You know, you can allow yourself to be fluid and be flexible, and merge into whatever it is that your partner's giving you. So whatever your partner's giving you in the dojo, or correspondingly whatever your life is giving you out in the world as well. And usually here in the dojo, it's very, very simple, because we're just doing punches and kicks and different techniques and things like that. And it's a simplified version of life outside, right? But if you can take the lessons that you learn here in the dojo, if you can take, yes, I can be attached to something, or I can want to do something, but I can wait for the opening to do whatever it is that I want to do, be the way that I want to be, think the way that I want to think. I can create the thinking, but then I can allow myself to be present enough to be able to do the doing when the opportunity arises. So same thing out in life too. So, you know, if I'll take something from my life. If I want my kids to be doing something the way that I want them to be doing something, you know, that's a great opportunity for me to get attached to stuff. And I've learned over the years that it doesn't help at all. So it's more, so for there it's more about like teaching them, but teaching them in a way that gives them space to grow into that. So it's allowing the people in your life to like grow into the relationship that you want to have, I guess you want to say. So whatever it is that you've got going on in your lives right now, you know, think about the people that you have in your lives, and think about how you'd like that relationship to grow and to expand, and how you'd like if there are any changes that you want to make, how can you do those together? How can you collaboratively do those together? And having the right mindset around that is super, super important, because you can't go into that with a mindset of controlling. You can't go into that with a mindset of it has to be this way. You can't go into that with a mindset of my way or the highway, right? It's just not going to work for you. Well, maybe it will work, but it won't work for the long term. It might work for the short term, but it's not really a long-term thing, not really a long-term solution. So finding the ways to allow our minds to encompass the bigger relationships that we have, the relationships out there, and allowing our minds to be giving, and allowing our minds to be grateful and joyful, and not attached to the outcomes, but, you know, looking out for the opportunities for not the front punch, but for something else that we want to create in our relationship. No, we want to create love in our relationships. We want to create joyfulness in our relationships. We want to create spontaneity. We want to create adventure. Whatever it is you want to create in your relationships, bringing the mindset of, well, how can I create these opportunities here so that we can have what we want to have and be what we want to be, both for ourselves and for the other people in our lives. So I think that's all I'm going to say about that. It's just really thinking about how your mind can really be the initial point from whence all that can occur. So to do that, I think we really need to have our minds be clear, and to be able to meditate is the best way to be able to clear our minds, allow all of the thoughts to go, and just to be present to who we are as a person, who we are as our consciousness. Just allow that to be present, and then from that space, see what opportunities arise. So let's sit together now and we'll meditate.